when we unveiled the winning design for the 9/11 memorial at Ground Zero. The first question we had after showing this reflecting absence, these two gigantic voids, was actually this is great, but isn't this just another Holocaust monument?
I think Holocaust in one way or another is in the art of all the artists that live the same time I live, because it put in question so many fundamental things of our existence.
And let's not just say it is about the Jews. Of course, the Jews were exterminated as Jews in the millions, but it has to do with the genocide against others, against the Gypsies, the Roma, homosexuals, political prisoners, people who were mentally or physically ill. We have to see the horror of it, not just as one group, but see the universality of the evil and also learn something from it.
Probably for the first 20 or 30 years after World War II, artists and architects were so preoccupied by the moment of destruction that the icons of destruction like barbed wire and flames and chimneys, became kind of the iconic motifs by which the victims were remembered.
I remember looking at the film of Alain Resnais, Night and Fog, and it was scary and it made me very angry. What a cold eye of a camera does by describing piles of shoes. It was a continuation of the mass to be destroyed, or the mass that was destroyed.
What touches me most when I see pictures from Auschwitz is the suitcases, because on the suitcases you have the names, It's just so personal.
I think all my artwork was about trying to say there was people. One was small, one was big, one was happy, one was not. For me, most of my work was, how do you actually make it personal?
For any memorial that I might ever have the opportunity to be associated with, what I would want is that a visitor to that memorial walk away with at least just one story.
To come to grips as a human being with it, which is not just to see the materials that have been often abused because the frequency of their showing, but just to think of what it might mean to just one person.
When I was 12 years old, obviously when you're a 12-year-old child, it's so terrifying that when you see those photographs, I'm often ask myself if that is the right approach for a monument today to look at it. Maybe for an information center at a concentration camp, but in a monument today, I think we need to look more positive, so it is not just a sad place.
I thought, what happens when a 7, 8-year-old child comes with their parents here? What is it for her or for him? What kind of experience? I want to make the experience something that is interesting, something that will make this child come back again. An architect cannot tell the story with words. They can tell it in color, in light, in shadows, in a corner that you have never looked into. Every work, even a small work or a very large complex museum, it's not about the stones, it's not about the concrete, it's not about the grating on the walls, it's not about the signage, it's about people. They are complicated, they are more than flesh and blood. They have memories, they have families, they have a background, they have a future. And if you cannot evoke that emotional story, if you cannot communicate it, then you will have failed.
Contemporary monument designers like to design spaces that might accommodate every new generation's reasons for coming to them. I would call it, I guess, that the monument's sustaining illusion is that it will live forever. But nothing human-made lasts forever, maybe especially monuments.